Friends, it's SeanPierceJohnson here, and welcome back to the studio for another episode of Stompbox Saturday. Though I think this week we might not be able to call this a Stompbox because there's no foot switch on it. What are we gonna do? We're just gonna check this thing out because it sounds pretty rad. This is the Geneva Amp Sim from Westminster Effects. It is pure and simple, an amp in a box. There's no foot switch, it's kind of always on, doing its thing. But there's a lot in this thing that makes it a very cool piece of equipment, not only for the praise and worship crowd that loves their Voxy style amplifiers, but for anybody that really is looking for a Vox in a box thing, this ticks all the boxes. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw the pedal up on the screen and take a look at the controls, and I'll tell you about some of the fun things that we can get up to within this video. As I said, and you can see for yourself, there is no foot switch on this pedal. It's kind of always on. And that's not really a bad thing. We have controls for volume, gain, bass, treble, and top boost. And the cool thing about the top boost is it's not really like a presence control. What it really is it's a blend control between counterclockwise being the normal channel of an AC30 and then full clockwise being the top boost channel of an AC30. And so you can basically set it to your taste, kind of like how you used to bridge inputs on an old Plexi to get the dark input and the bright input. That's kind of what we have here, and now we have it with a AC30 style pedal, which is pretty darn awesome. Every other control, pretty self-explanatory. Then we have two toggle switches, which are very, very nice to have because it makes this an even more versatile little pedal for us to use. The first is cab sim because there is a built-in cab sim on the Geneva Amp Sim. We're using the word sim a lot in this video today, so just get used to it. In the right, it is off, and in the left position, it's on. Pretty simple. Then we have the Dry Thru, which is connected to the 1/4 inch in and outs on the Geneva. Basically, if you want, you can plug in your guitar into it, then go out of the 1/4 inch output. You can send that to an amplifier, you can send that to more pedals. But if you don't want that to have the Geneva tone on it, you can just go ahead, flick it to the left, and your dry signal goes right through the pedal. You're not getting any of the sounds made by these knobs. It's just your pure, unadulterated guitar tone going to the rest of your pedals, which is kind of cool. Now, this has 1/4 inch in, 1/4 inch out, and a XLR output with a ground lift switch. So you can essentially use this as not just a preamp, you can use this as a DI box if you want to. So we're going to put the Geneva Amp Sim through its paces, seeing what kind of AC30 tones we can get out of it for cleans, crunch, and dirties. We're also going to put it up against pedals that typically get stacked into AC30s. And I'm gonna show you a couple little tricks that I like to use the Geneva for. So here we go. Now, I really like the clean tones that we get out of Geneva, but this gives me a good opportunity to show you what this top boost knob does. Now, it's set at noon. Let's go ahead and turn it full counterclockwise and play that same progression. crunchy AC30. There's just really nothing like it. And this one does that medium gain thing pretty darn well. And I usually like to emphasize the top boost channel when we start really getting some gain going on this one. But let's see if we can make that sound just a little bit fatter, turning up the bass control, putting it right in line with where the treble is. Now, let's see if we can maybe clean up that crunchy sound. Doesn't take much, but it's there. And touch sensitive, what do you know? Even with a lot more gain and humbuckers, we still get a quite jangly sound, and that's really cool. You know, a lot of people don't realize how many punk and emo bands were using AC30s in a studio context for their guitar sounds, and I think it definitely lends something to that kind of punkish vibe. It's got that fast attack. Keeps up with palm muting and fast power chords. Pretty appropriate considering my chain reaction t-shirt. I'm gonna warm up my neck pickup a little bit. It's just a very different kind of sound than what I'm normally used to, but having more sounds is always great, isn't it? I think so. If you ask me, I think this thing is a winner. Absolutely, for all the tones that you can do, clean, crunch, full-on dirt, it's awesome. But, we stacked one overdrive into a clean sound on Geneva, but there's some usual suspects that usually get thrown in front of AC30s for their signature sonic characteristic, like a treble booster and the Boss FA1. I wonder what would happen if we plugged in the Compadre's treble booster and the JHS Clover into the front end of a sound on Geneva. Wonder what's gonna happen with that. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Well, if you ask me, I think the Geneva does quite well with the usual suspects stacked into it. Between the treble booster, the Clover being a Boss FA1, we get Brian May, we get the Edge, and we have a Vox amp to just do whatever the heck we want with it. But there's one little trick that I want to show you before we wrap this whole thing up, and it's kind of a sneaky thing. And it would really only work if you had a pedal switcher like a G2 or a G3 like I hope to have very, very soon. But the point is, I like it and we're gonna check it out. Now, I love my Rock Reverb 100. It's my favorite amplifier, but sometimes the clean channel can be a little dull and lifeless. Well, that's where Geneva comes in. We can use Geneva as a preamp in front of our amplifier to use for tone shaping purposes, adding a little bit of sparkle and presence to a sound that, even with the settings that I have right now, which tend to emphasize the treble, just doesn't quite seem to have the brightness of things and the liveliness of things that I want. So here is the clean tone. Now I have the Dry Thru on, so you're not hearing anything from Geneva yet, just the Rock Reverb. I'm gonna add on a little bit of compression too. It's fine. It's not great. It's just fine. Turn off the Dry Thru. Yes, we get a little bit of hiss, but that's okay. I can deal with that. But this is the clean tone that results from us putting these settings into the front end of the clean channel on the Rock Reverb. And there you have it, friends. That was the Geneva Amp Sim from Westminster Effects. I gotta say, in terms of amp in a box pedals, they're pretty much a dime a dozen. But this thing really does feel like it's supposed to be an amp replacer. It's supposed to be something that takes the place of a large combo or head and speaker combination, and you can just slap it on your pedal board, put a bunch of other pedals in front of it and after it, and go direct. And you're gonna have a great consistent guitar tone throughout the set. The built-in cab sim sounds great, and it feels great to play through. And of course, the added routing options with the XLR and the 1/4 inch means that you can really throw this in just about any kind of rig context that you can think of and get something out of it that you're going to enjoy. I know that this will be forming the basis of a pedal board that I will soon be using in a context that I never really thought that I would be playing in my entire life, but maybe that's a subject for another video. But if you'd like to know what that thing is, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, sharing it with your friends, and of course, clicking the subscribe button and ringing the notification bell. That way, you're never gonna miss any videos that go up on the channel. It's been so awesome of you guys to spend part of your day with me. I hope you enjoyed yourselves and had some fun. And until next time, I'm SeanPierceJohnson, wishing you all out there great tone, good health, and happy stomping. Cheers, friends. We'll see you next week, and God bless.